And we are live. All right, sports update. Adrian Reid was good.
Good.
Another episode. So the Tigers currently half game up in the AL wild card. Won 2-1 earlier over the Rays. 1 o'clock game. Schoolboy has 7 Ks. So Reid, where you at with the Tigers right now? How you see this playing out for them?
Yeah, they're looking good in that, and I think they face the Rays' best pitcher today, so you don't really have to worry about that going forward, which is nice. Um, the bats were a little disappointing today. I mean, obviously you had one opportunity with the bases loaded early, and then you had another one later on when Wenzel Perez. I really think the Rays got lucky and got out of a jam there with that going into a ground rule double and not going into the corner because Parker Meadows probably would have scored, but hey, it is what it is. You still won 2-1. So, yeah, I mean, it's exciting. We just looked, Raj. Minnesota was down 4-0 against the Marlins. So that's exciting. You know, you gotta see what they're gonna have with Kansas City because they got to play too. But the schedule is looking favorable for the Tigers for the rest of the year. You play 2 more games against Tampa, and then you play 3 at home against the worst team in baseball, which is the White Sox. So you have a chance to pull ahead, or you have a chance to make up games if you do lose one, and maybe get back down to even. So I like the chances. They brought up Job. He's going to be a bullpen guy. I'm excited to kind of see what you have in him. Obviously, being a bullpen guy, he's not going to get. Maybe they'll do one of those bullpen days and start him. And he'll go 3 innings or something like that. But I'm excited to see what he has. And there was also another thing they said on the broadcast. They have an opportunity to pitch Skubal that Sunday, the last game of the season, Sunday against the White Sox. If you're making it into the wild card, if you know you're making it into the wild card, you're rerouting that and you're saving Skubal for that wild card game because you're not going to waste that arm against the crappy White Sox. So yeah, I'm excited. I've paid more attention to the Tigers in the last month than I have all year before this. So it's definitely fun and it's definitely cool seeing them get a little bit of love nationally as well.
Yeah, I mean, like Reid said, it took me a little longer to get on the bandwagon. I still wasn't a believer for a long time, but I mean, it's here. They're going to get in the wild card. I think a lot of it has to do with, I don't know where this pitching came from. Some of these guys that you've never even heard of that came from Double A and Triple A, and guys who've had like 5 ERAs in the minors, and they come in and they look like Mariano Rivera with the Yankees. It's incredible. Everything's going their way right now, and it takes a lot. Like Reid talked about, the Twins are down 4-0. They have just completely imploded, along with the Royals, who haven't been as bad, but have not been playing good. Tigers just took this spark and capitalized on it, and they're gonna make the wild card. I'm like 100% sure they'll make it. So who will they play? We don't know yet. But if, like Reid said, I would not pitch Scuba for the rest of the regular season if you do not need to get him one of them as fresh as you can for this playoff game.
They'll either play the Astros or who was the other team? Was it the Astros or Baltimore?
I like their matchup better. I like their matchup a little better with Baltimore.
Yeah, I think that was the other team. But yeah, I think if they went in right now, if it ended today, they'd be playing the Astros, which would be tough going. But I also think it'd be kind of a cool game because it would be Hinch returning back to that and maybe winning with his new team. And I think that honestly, we gave him a lot of shit in the beginning of the season, but he's really turned it around, and I think he's kind of found some way with this new bullpen where it's like because guys barely go 6 innings nowadays. I mean, Skubal threw 100 pitches in 7 innings today. That was that's a lot of pitches, and the other guy, the Rays pitcher, threw almost 100 pitches in 5 innings. So I mean, you utilize your bullpen a lot more nowadays than you used to back in the day when it was your Scherzers and your Verlanders and your DeGroms and your Kershaw's pitching. You had those guys come out and they were true aces. Like Skubal is still a true ace, but you have guys to back him up, which is also good. Like it's like we talk about with the Lions, they have a lot of depth, and like Adrian said, they just got a lot of depth coming out of whatever they had in the minor league system. So maybe Alavila paid off after all with all these guys.
It's like I talked about. What's crazy is just like they got hot, but look, it takes a look. Like I can be the first to admit it takes a little luck to get
Oh,
be
yeah.
successful. Look right now. The Royals have completely imploded. Well, they're on a 7-game losing streak right now. So that takes a lot. It takes a lot of little luck to get in, but everything's going their way right now. So, but you gotta take advantage of it. Now, I'm not giving any credit to the GM. He gets no credit. It's all AJ Hinton, the hitting coaches and the pitching coaches. You know,
The
not
pitching
getting none of
coach, Ryan Fetter, is that his name?
Yeah,
Yeah,
none of it.
that guy.
Hey, he needs a raise. He needs a raise.
You pay whatever you have to pay to keep that guy on the payroll because you got Job coming up. You have Olsen there now. You have Scooble. Hopefully, as long as Mize stays a little healthier, maybe you can make him a smaller reclamation project, and he'll be your fourth starter on that rotation. But yeah, Fetter needs a raise, and yeah, I'm not actually giving Alavila any of the, or even Scott Harris any of the, whatever the credit. But like Adrian said, yeah, you play 162 baseball games. Luck's got to play a factor in some of that.
Yeah. Hats off to Federer and Hitch, man. They did their thing, especially with all the injuries they had, especially a lot of your pitching staff. All those guys been on the IR. The way they maneuvered it with the bullpen days, putting Maeda in the bullpen, they really maneuvered this thing. So, yeah, Schoolwood started a good tone to this Rays series. They closed it out with the White Sox, so they should be in the wild card, man. We'll see how it plays out for them. All right. So, Adrian, Caitlin Clark was named the unanimous WNBA MVP. Now, did you think she should have got this award unanimously, or you think it should have been rookie of? Did I say MVP?
Yeah, he said. I know you mean rookie of the year.
Rookie of the year.
Yeah, I got
Caitlin
you.
Clark, unanimous rookie of the year. Do you think she should have got it unanimously, or you think it should have been with her and Angel Reese?
I mean, I have no problem winning. I told you guys about it. I have no problem winning. I do think Angel should have got a few votes. Now, Caitlin Clark winning it doesn't surprise me at all. She's carried the league as far as marketing, viewership, sponsorship, whatever you want to go. She had a rough start to the season, got the fever in the playoffs, so I think that plays a major factor. They were the worst team in the WNBA last season, so I think you could have gave Angel Reese a couple votes, but I'm not really up in arms about it. No, it's not a big deal. Caitlin Clark earned the award, and she's playing at a high elite level right now, so can't complain. It's just simple as that.
Yeah, I think with the way she played the last month of the season, last month and a half of the season, she was on fire. So I think that's when she kind of ran away with it. I mean, I kind of agree with Adrian, or maybe not unanimously. Maybe Angel could have gotten a few votes here and there, but I definitely think the way that Caitlin played at the end of the season was just unbelievable. It's something that you've never seen from a rookie before. Obviously, probably the best rookie season that you've seen in the WNBA. And didn't Angel Reese get hurt too? She didn't even play the last little bit of the season.
Yeah,
right?
that's a big. I think that.
So I think that doesn't really help her. It plays a factor, but I mean, I think regardless, Caitlin was probably going to win it just because she was again on fire. She averaged 19.6 with almost double, what was it, nine assists or something like that, and 5 rebounds that towards the last month and a half of the season. So yeah, I definitely think she was on fire. But people are always going to hate on either one or the other. That's just going to be the popular thing to do. They're both going to have great careers, it seems, and I think it's just dumb. And I think next year you're just going to see these two run the Olympic team. It's just going to be, I mean, obviously you're going to have your Sabrinas and your Asias and your Brianna Stewart, all those other gals. But I definitely think Caitlin and Angel are probably a lock to be on the WNBA Olympic team from here on out.
I will say this because the WNBA playoffs just started on Sunday, so I'm going to get this out here before I can. So I might be a little late on this, but I do think that the Minnesota Lynx are going to win the WNBA championship. That's just me. So
I got the Liberty winning it. I think Ionescu, Sabrina gets her first ring this year. I got New York.
I have the Aces. So we're all.
Well, the Dream are currently up 5 on the Liberty at halftime, game 2.
Yep. And then the Aces.
And then the Storm. Yep, 9:30. So, and shout out to Asia Wilson getting another MVP award, much earned. Repeat. I think she broke the record for most points scored. The first player in WNBA history to score over 1,000 points in the season.
She was averaging 26 points a game and almost 12 rebounds or something, wasn't she? She had some crazy stats.
Yeah. Shout out to Asia Wilson getting that MVP.
26.9, so basically 27,
27.
shooting 52% from the field, 84% from the field, averaging 12 rebounds a game. So, I mean,
That's crazy.
Dominant numbers.
And went over to the Olympics, played, then came back and still ran. Yeah.
Like Joker season last year, or like a Beats MVP season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get some of the feedback here. It says Chris Fetter was a good pitching coach at University of Michigan too. Okay, I didn't know he pitched there. I mean, I didn't know he was a pitching coach there. Didn't know that.
Yeah,
They almost went to the College World Series a couple of years ago, so I didn't realize that he was the pitching coach at the time there.
I think Brandon Inge coaches at Michigan right now, if I'm not mistaken. Is he the coach over there or one of the?
I'm not sure, but I will tell you this: that that might be one sport that I'm going to have to start paying more attention to, because it might be the only thing that the college I root for is good in is baseball at this point.
Yeah, this is. I wouldn't be shocked if the Tigers go to the World Series. Their combined pitching is nearly lights out right now.
Yeah, I mean, this all really kind of started with the Little League World Series game against the Yankees, when they kind of got little brothered once the Yankees showed up, and yeah, I think it's possible. Crazier teams have gone on crazier runs. You know what I mean? Like this team's the hottest team in baseball right now. They have the best record since August. I mean, better than the Yankees, better than the Mets, better than the Red Sox, better than anybody else that's in the MLB. So I could see it happening. I mean, would I put money on it? Probably not, but I could see it definitely happening. Baseball is a crazy, crazy sport where stuff like that happens all the time. Teams win craziness all the time.
I would be a little shocked if they say win the World Series.
I think he said go to the World Series.
He said I wouldn't be Tigers go to the World Series.
Yeah, go to.
Yeah. I wouldn't be I wouldn't be surprised.
I mean, I would definitely be shocked, but I would not be, I would be like, this team is the hottest team in baseball, so it kind of makes sense. But holy crap, our team made it to the World Series.
Yeah, he said, what happened to Cameron Brink in women's basketball?
She tore ACL.
That's Reid.
I tried to give her mine. They wouldn't let me give it to her. She's too old.
Says during the college baseball season, I go catch a lot of Oakland University's baseball home games.
Shout out to my alma mater, baby. Shout out to the OU Grizzlies, baby.
Yes, sir.
I feel like those would be fun games to go to. I want to go to one of those Jimmy John Field games, and I wish we had like an actual. Well, we do have Michigan Whitecaps are here. We go to like a Whitecaps game, but I don't know where.
Oh, Raaj was right, guys. Brandon Inge is currently assistant coach on Michigan's baseball staff. He's been there since 2021.
Yeah, shout out to B. Inge. I think his son might play for them if I'm not mistaken. Don't quote me on that.
Speaking of a local team, I'm surprised Brother Rice's baseball coach hasn't got called to coach a college team. He's like the best high school baseball coach in history.
Yeah,
in the country at least. His record's unreal.
Yeah. I think a kid from didn't the kid from Northville go in the first round? The MLB draft this year?
I believe so. If not the first one, he went pretty high.
Yeah. So all right, so yeah, let's get some college football in here, man. So Adrian, we seen Michigan. They ran themselves to a win over USC. Alex Orji only 32 passing yards. They so yeah. Where you at with Michigan right now? They got Minnesota this Saturday.
This is kind of what I expected to see from them as Alex Orji should have been the starter in the first place. Now I do want to see them try to have some semblance of a passing game and not like a service academy, but I guess you gotta kind of lean into what you're good at right now, and this is what they're good at. I will tell you that they found the workhorse running back in Khalil Mullins. Did I see this coming from this season? No, but he's the workhorse that they needed. Donovan Edwards can slide right into that RB2 because we expected him to be the superstar back, and he is just that speed flash guy. So there's nothing wrong with having Thunder and Lightning. You can include both of them. And I am impressed with the offensive line being able to be as dominant in the run game. But further down the line, can they keep this up? Yeah, but you can't throw for 32 yards. But, I mean, I guess Alex Orji's first start, you got to build some confidence, and he did what he had to do and punch USC in the mouth. And that's kind of like what I like to see from the team. And more importantly, we knew the offense was going to struggle, but what I loved was the tenacity and the dominance by that defense that I got to see finally. That's what we kind of expected from Josiah Stewart, Derek Moore, And once again, Will Johnson proves he's the best DB in the country. Another pick six, three in his career. But just a gutsy win. I think this was a win more so for the fan base to kind of get on board with Sharon Moore and build some confidence. I still think he is trying to figure out how to coach and what to do because he still looks a little nervous. He even said after the game he blacked out. But just a good win. It just helps me boost. I still think they win 8-9 games. Like I did say, they weren't going to win this game last week. I'm happy to be wrong. But not a college football contender this year. Just like I said, a rebuild but they're just working with what they got and just like I said, lean into the dominance of running the football right now. That's what you're good at, and that's what you're good at. So I mean, good win though.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think it was a good win. It was a sloppy win, in my opinion. Other than probably the defense. Defense really held them afloat this game. Obviously, playing Army Navy ball on offense does not help. The situation that it was relatively low scoring. USC got unlucky with that long run by Mullins, and Donovan Edwards obviously proved that he's not a starting guy. He's not a number one back. So, I definitely think if you're a Michigan fan, you look at it positively because you beat a team that was higher ranked than you. Like I was kind of telling you guys, I think it proves more that Michigan's defense is still there, but I also think that USC was kind of a pretender. They didn't play a whole lot of people. LSU we knew wasn't great either when they went into that game. But, I think that USC kind of shot themselves in the foot, just not being able to stop the run. The offensive line looked terrible for USC too, going up against that defensive line of Michigan. So, again, there's a lot of positives that came out of play on the defensive side of the ball. Offense, still looks shaky. If you play a team that can hold Alex Orji to throwing it for 36 yards and doesn't allow him to run or doesn't allow Mullins to run, you're not going to win a lot of games off of just the defensive play. And this may sound like me being a hater, but I can't get on board with 8 or 9 wins still. I'm still going to keep them at 7 because I still think there's games that are going to come around that are going to shock you. I think Minnesota is going to be a tougher game than people give them credit for. I think Michigan's probably going to win it, but I still think it's going to be a tougher game. Oregon, I think, has found their way. I think they'll lose the Oregon game. I think you have to look out for Indiana. Indiana's a tough team. They play Illinois this year too. I don't remember.
They do play Illinois.
Illinois obviously went up against Nebraska, who is a very high-powered offense, and they beat Nebraska. I think there's still a lot of games that you got to watch out for. What plays into Michigan's benefit is that you have one of the craziest stadiums, and all your bigger games, like your Texas, which obviously is a loss, but your Texas, your USC, your Oregon, they're all being played at home. And then again, you got to see. I mean, we'll probably get to them, but the Michigan State thing was tough. They lost. They should have won that game against Boston College. They were handling them well, and your defense can pull up some of those interceptions because Aiden Childs is throwing a lot of them. I think you can beat Michigan State, but I also think that one's going to come down to whose defense is stopping what. So it'll be an interesting game, especially since the last couple of years they've been blowouts. So it's always fun to see the rivalry come back.
I will say too, watching the biggest problem with this Michigan team this year is they have, like I talked about last week, they have 9 turnovers this year already. They had 8 all of last year, so they've already surpassed that. So you have to be better with the football. The one turnover was kind of fluky. The one, I think the thing that turned that game around, what made it really interesting was the fact that Stewart had the sack, forced fumble on Miller Moss. Kenneth Grant picks it up, and then Woody Marks makes a remarkable play and strips the ball from Kenneth Grant. So that counted as a turnover. But Donovan Edwards has to be better at protecting the football. That drove me crazy just to not have the ball secured like that and get it punched out. You clean those things up, I think you can be a little better because the penalties were a little better. They were down this year. Give them credit. No Coast and Loveland, so you knew they had no chance to throw the football. Marlon Klein was 1 catch for 10 yards. So it's a lot of things like Reid said. Yeah, they definitely got to clean up and get better because you can't be a service academy in the Big Ten and expect to win 8, 9, 10 games. So I totally agree. But just the one I think gets them on track and builds a little more confidence into this program and just trying to figure out who they are. But they're going to lean into that identity and run the football. So I do think Mullins and Donovan Edwards both end up getting drafted. So we definitely have to hit the portal in this offseason and get a competent quarterback. because I don't want to look like Auburn next year.
Yeah, absolutely. So Reid, Michigan 9-point favorites against Minnesota Saturday. Do they cover?
At a tough line, yeah, that's. I'm going to say no. I'm going to say they don't cover. I'm going to say Minnesota is going to play gritty. They're going to try winning in the trenches. Minnesota can be a tough team to play defensively. Again, I think a lot of people are going to be surprised with this game. So no, I don't think they cover the 9.
Normally, I would agree, and I would agree with Reid because and with Michigan's not covering points, but yesterday it was a 10 or 10.5 point spread, so it's went down. But I will say Minnesota's not a good football team. They just played Iowa last week, so they just got done getting punched in the mouth by Iowa. And like I told you guys about, Michigan and Iowa are almost replicas this year. So I believe Michigan covers that spread and they win, punch Minnesota in the mouth again, especially in the big house, especially after a big win. I don't think they come down from this one. I think they pull away and win this game like they're supposed to.
Oh yeah, it's not. It is in Michigan, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Then I will take that. Then I keep thinking it's in Minnesota. I don't know why.
They just got smashed. Minnesota just got smashed by Iowa last week, 31-14. And Iowa has a nice running back named Caleb Johnson who leads the country in rushing yards. So you can imagine what Donovan Edwards and Khalil Mulling's going to do to this Minnesota defense.
Yeah, I'm taking Michigan to cover. I'm taking Michigan by 10 points. Let's see. It says Michigan is going to have to come with a different offensive scheme. That playing style is not sustainable. That playing style is not sustainable. Orgy only throwing for a very, very paltry 32 yards. Come on, man.
I agree. It's got to be better.
I don't think Orgy's a terrible QB. It's the offensive coordinator and the coaches that limit him.
I think Orgy's not a very good QB. If you watch that game, he was throwing Davis Warren passes. He was sailing the ball, 8-9 yards over guys' heads. And I think when he panics, he doesn't play well. I don't think it has a lot to do with the offensive scheme. I think it's just his playing style is more adept to a run first player instead of kind of an improviser, a scrambler, like a Caleb Williams type. I'm not comparing those two. I'm just comparing the play styles, obviously. But, he doesn't – like Dylan Raiola, it can improvise a play. I don't think Alex Orgy is accurate enough to improvise a play. He'd probably just take off with his feet as opposed to try and make a play passing.
Here's the problem, too. I think if you don't try to throw the ball at least 15 to 17 times a game, you know what happens with the offensive line? They become very terrible in pass protection. So even when he drops back, they can't give him any protection, and he's going to panic and he's going to take off. So I think you got to build some confidence in the offensive line with the pass protection. You don't have to throw the ball 25 times a game, but you got to make them respect you a little bit and give you some form of throwing the ball down the field. The problem too is we need to get some bigger body receivers. I've talked about this a lot. We have nothing but 5'11" and 6 receivers. No shame to the guys, but you got to get some explosives. Colston Lovely can't do it by himself. So
absolutely. So Adrian, Rutgers currently 3-0, Indiana 4-0, Illinois 4-0. So do you look at any of those three teams as serious contenders in the Big Ten, or you think they'll eventually fizzle out?
I think the biggest contender in the Big Ten out of those three teams, in my opinion, would be Rutgers. I was a big Rutgers fan going into the season. Big fan of the running back Kyle Mungai. I'm not a big fan of the quarterback, but they played tough-nosed, hard defense. They went into Virginia Tech. I know Virginia Tech was supposed to be good this year, but they went there and got a win and dominated that game. They got close, but they were dominant. Illinois, I know Reid's probably a big fan of them, but Illinois always wins a few games to start the season, and they kind of just fall off. So I gotta see a little bit more. In Indiana, I'm definitely a believer in Indiana. I like Kirk Cignetti coming from James Madison. I think he's gonna have a lot to say. I think Indiana win 7 or 8 games, and they're gonna upset somebody in the Big Ten. I don't know who it's gonna be, but they're gonna do it.
Speaking of James Madison, just side note, did you see they put up like 70 points?
And mind you, I want all the fans to know, everybody that watches our show, I am a North Carolina basketball fan. I'm sorry for all the Tar Heel football fans, but it just ain't it. So just want to put that caveat out there.
Same thing with SMU and TCU. SMU put up 66 on TCU. So get ready for the over-under on that game with the when they play Florida State. Whatever the over-under is, take the over because they're about to put up 100 on Florida State. I like Illinois. I think Indiana's the best. Who's going to be the one that's going to shock people.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody says Illinois. I think that they're sneaky good. They just beat Nebraska, who I think is also a good team. Brett Bielema does not seem to go away from the Big Ten. You can't get him out of here. So, I think Indiana, is probably going to be the one that'll, like Adrian said, shocks the people and beat a Big Ten team.
Okay, cool. Adrian, you got Ohio State at Michigan State this Saturday. The Buckeyes coming to East Lansing. Ohio State 24-point favorite in that one. How you see that one going?
The game comes down to what are we going to get from Aiden Childs? Is he going to turn the ball over at all? Is he going to turn the ball over 1, 2, 3 times? Because that's what he's been doing the entire season. But with that said, I do believe Ohio State wins, but I believe Michigan State finds a way to cover.
Oh, man. New York just cannot stop Hot Atlanta right now. New York's trying to drive the paint, can't do anything. Atlanta's just raining threes. I agree with Adrian again. I think that it comes down to Aiden Childs. Do not Nick Marsh lost his starting running back spot. It definitely goes to Adrian. Help me out.
No, what are you talking about? The running back or the receiver?
Yeah, running back.
Oh, Nate Carter.
But what's the other guy's name?
Oh, the receiver is Nick Marsh.
No, the backup running back. 15.
Backup.
He's got the hyphenated last name.
It's let me pull it up because I
can't think of his. That guy deserves to be the starting running back.
Lynch Adams, Kyron Lynch Adams.
Yeah, Lynch Adams should be the starting running back because every time that, I said Marsh, I meant Carter. Every time Carter gets the ball, it's like an automatic 5 yards. He has no vision. It's an automatic minus 5 yards because he can't see a hole. So I think Lynch Adams should be the starting running back. I never remember his name, which is bad. I should probably remember it. It comes down to Aiden Childs, and hopefully you can get Marsh out there and throw the ball. I feel like they didn't throw enough in that Boston College game. They're relying a little bit too much on their defense. I think the defense is good enough to go up against Will Howard, who I don't think is a very good quarterback for Ohio State necessarily. They need to stop. They need to stop the running backs because TreVeyon Henderson and that other guy who ran his heart out against Marshall, who again I can't remember his name.
Quinshon Judkins.
Yeah, Judkins. He was killing it, but you just have to really hopefully you can get to Will Howard because you just can't let him throw to these crazy wide receivers that they have at Ohio State, and hopefully somehow figure out to stop the run. But obviously that's two big parts of the game: is stop the pass and stop the run. But I just don't think. I think if you could take the wide receivers away enough, it'll be able to game plan around the running backs because I don't think again Will Howard is a very good quarterback. I think he showed flashes at K-State where he came from, but he's just not. He's not a guy that's you're used to at Ohio State. He's not your C.J. Stroud. He's not your Justin Fields. He's not your Dwayne Haskins type guy. He's serviceable. I mean, obviously I would kill for him on my team probably at this point, and I know Michigan fans would probably take him too because he can at least pass the ball a little bit. But I just think he was a little overhyped coming out of the transfer portal, and I think Ohio State could have done way better.
Yeah, I hope if Nick Marsh doesn't play in this game, then I think Ohio State covers. But if he does, I think Michigan State covers. So that's the big question mark right there because he didn't play last week. I know he aggravated his knee, so hopefully he plays because I want to see a competitive game from this Michigan State team because this will be the first game Ohio State actually plays a team who has life, an actual college football team, not this cupcake set. There's nothing wrong with it because a lot of teams do it, but it just actually get to play a team with a heartbeat.
Michigan State's schedule this next, 5 weeks,
Rough.
4 weeks? Tough. You had Boston College, you get Ohio State, then you
Oregon Oregon. Mind you, Oregon's next week, but it's on a Friday night, so that's a short.
In Oregon,
that's a short turnaround. Then you go back home and play Iowa,
and then you play Michigan,
and then you got to host Indiana if they continue to play well.
See, that's the thing that I'm talking about. Obviously, Michigan deserves it a little bit more than Michigan State does because Michigan State was horrible last season. But when you got to Michigan is traveling to Ohio State this year, correct?
Yes, correct.
So they do have to travel for that one. But you had to travel. They had to travel to Boston College for the Red Bandana game, which all the Michigan State fans that I was talking to, I told them as an FSU fan, I know you're upset that you lost that game, but that is a very, very hard game to win. The atmosphere, for some reason, during that day is just different. The aura is different there. So you had to travel to Boston College. Then you have to travel to Ohio State, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you have to travel to Oregon on short notice.
No, I'm sorry. You go home for Ohio State, and then you travel.
Okay, either way. Well, you go home, but short notice to Ohio State, back to Iowa,
Physical.
and then physical. You're going to be those.
And you play Michigan. You play Iowa and Michigan back to back. Those are two of the worst teams to play on the back to back,
especially defensively. Tough defense.
That's a tough schedule. That's a tough schedule.
Hey, at least State will be battle tested going into the Michigan game. We can't say that.
Oh, absolutely.
And look, this is the situation you get into when you have a bad team the year before. They really want to see what you have coming in with a new coach and coming in with a new regime and basically a whole new team. So as a pseudo Michigan State fan right now, because my team's horrible, but really I'm an Ole Miss fan, as you guys know.
I got the win.
I think, you guys, I think there's a lot to look forward to. Obviously, Childs wasn't great, but you're playing on such an injured team right now. This team is, you're down 2 starting defensive backs, down a starting offensive lineman. Like Adrian's brought up before, you have 62 new players on your team anyway. So it's like, it's all fresh faces. Just give it time. You're not going to win a national championship this year. Just give it time. It takes time to build this team.
Absolutely. All right, so Ohio State at Michigan State in East Lansing. That game streaming exclusively on Peacock.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So last thing on college football here, Reid. Let's go ahead and get Reid's current Heisman list. Let's get Reid's current Heisman Trophy list. Let's see how he got these guys ranked. I think me and Adrian both know who number 1 is going to be.
I think you guys are going to be a little bit shocked here, to be honest. Not shocked, but I think you're going to be. I think you'll be understanding of it. Okay, so you want 5 down or 1 up?
5. Go 5 to 1.
Okay, so let me give you some. I have 2 honorable mentions on here. Quinn Ewers dropped down for me, obviously, because he got injured that 2 games ago, and in the half, Arch Manning came in, and then he didn't play this last game. So he dropped down a little bit for me, obviously. I think Travis Hunter is another honorable mention for me. He's just on the cusp there, being a player that, granted, their schedule's not the hardest, but being a two-way player is incredible, and especially doing what he's doing. 37 receptions, 472 yards, 5 touchdowns, 14 tackles, 1 interception, 2 pass breakups, 1 forced fumble. That's incredible being a two-way player. I think he played I saw one stat. There was 117 total snaps. He played 115 or something of them. So it's crazy to me. So started at 5. I'm going to go with Jalen Milroe from the Alabama quarterback. He's obviously a dual threat quarterback. So they do look good at playing. But his stats for this season, he has a 67.3% passing completion rate. 590 yards, 8 touchdowns, and he has 36 carries for 156 yards and 6 touchdowns. Not too many crazy wins there, but they do play Georgia this week. That'll be a good test for him. So a guy I have at 4, this might shock some people too, but he's playing incredible. Nico from Tennessee, and I will not try to pronounce his last name because I always butcher it. So he has a 69.3% passing complete rate. 892 yards, 7 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, 25 carries for 117 yards and a TD. So I think he's, he obviously has a better pass completion. He's throwing it more than Milroe. The guy I have at 3rd, which may shock people, may not shock people, but I think he definitely deserves to be here. He's probably the only reason that his team is ranked 25th right now, and that's Ashton Genty, the running back from Boise State. He has 56 carries for 586 yards. He averages 10.5 yards per carry, which is crazy to me. And he has 9 touchdowns. His season high last year was 14, so he's already on pace to crush that. And I think he was on pace to beat Barry Sanders' Heisman record for rushing when Barry Sanders won it, which is insane to me because that was one of the craziest Heisman, winners ever. Number 2 for me, this is what I'm sure you guys would think was number 1. It was close battle for me looking at it, but Jackson Dart is second just because his competition has not been as good as the guy who I have at number 1. But he has 79.8% passing completion. He's thrown for 1,500 yards, almost 1,600 yards, 12 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. He has 3 rushing touchdowns as well, so that helps him a lot, which I was shocked when I put this together, not thinking that he had more than this guy, who I have at number 1, which is Cam Ward. Obviously, Cam Ward is coming from Washington State, who's he learned from Mike Leach's pass-heavy offense, but he's been the improviser. He's been going crazy, being able to make plays out of the pocket, being able to make guys miss. He's thrown for 1,400 yards. We'll call it 1,500 yards because he's almost there. 14, 2 INTs, and rushed for 89 yards with a touchdown. Was shocking. Rushed for more. I could have sworn he would have rushed for more than that. But yeah, that's my list. I think so. Ward's 1, Dart 2, Genty 3, Nico 4, and Milrow 5.
I thought for sure you were going to have Dart first.
I would. I like Jackson Dart. I think I took into account schedule, to be honest with you. I think that schedule comes into play, especially when it's quarterbacks. I didn't want this whole list to be quarterbacks, so I was tempted to even put Travis Hunter at 5. But again, I just think that he'll play in a great conference, so I couldn't really put him there. I mean, he is an incredible player. The Heisman's basically the MVP, so he could be there. But they're going to have 4 quarterbacks and 1 other guy there, so I kind of did it that way. Nico probably could have been 3-2 because he played well against Oklahoma last week, and he's played well in every other game that he's been in. He just didn't really have the stats, in my opinion. But yeah, that's why I didn't have Dart first, only just because schedule.
I honestly have no problem. I would actually move Travis Hunter up really high. I would have him 1 or 2, in my opinion. He's not playing on a great team, but he's producing at an extremely high level right now, playing on both sides of the football. He won them that game at the end. Besides the Hail Mary, he forced the fumble. He's playing both sides of the football at extremely high level. And I would have Jalen Milrow probably 2 right now. Ahead of Jackson Dart, just because I know his schedule's been a little tougher, but he's going for 2, running for 2. His numbers are just a little. I like his numbers a little better, but I like the order wise. I don't really have a problem with Reed's guys. Have a chance to prove yourself. Jalen Milrow plays Georgia at home this week. Jackson Dart, they're playing Mississippi State. That's gonna be a blowout, Reed. So he might put up 280 and 3 touchdowns in the first half.
Yeah.
So Travis Hunter and Colorado got a tough game this week as they travel to the Bounce House to play UCF. I'm sorry. So that's gonna be a tough game. Nico, I'll have him a little lower. His numbers weren't great. I know they got the win against Oklahoma. Oklahoma's not a good football team right now, and that Tennessee defense it's elite. So nothing wrong with the list. Like you said, they're gonna have more quarterbacks than any other position, but we got to try to get a defensive guy or a guy who plays a receiver or something. We need to change it up a little bit. So
the thing with Nico, I also kind of put into I kind of adjusted for inflation for his stats because he did play in the first 2 games of the season. They put up like 50 points in the first half, and he just didn't play the second half. So his stats could probably be a lot better than they actually are on paper. So that's kind of, why those 2 guys that are in first, they're only there because their stats are so good, but they've also played in games a lot longer than guys like Nico have. Again, you look at competition, Austin Genty is not playing the best competition, but he's also running all over the place, and he looks great doing it. You don't see a lot of running backs doing stuff like that anymore. I haven't seen a running back run like him since Jonathan Taylor, probably. So he's not as big as Jonathan Taylor, but he's still running out of his mind. I wouldn't mind moving Travis Hunter up higher, but I don't know. The Milrow, I think he has played good. He has played better competition than Dart, but Dart still looks phenomenal, even playing not great competition. I just think Milrow being a dual threat quarterback helps him a lot. That's what I was trying to get out there.
No, honestly, I agree with the Ashton Genty thing. I'm a big fan. I think Ashton Genty should be a first-round draft pick. I mean, I know running back he picked a lot in the first round over the years, but this guy is a stud. He can do it all. You know who could use him? The Dallas Cowboys. So him, and I think Amarian Hampton, the running back from UNC, I think those guys could argue to be
what's his name? Who did you just mention?
Caleb Johnson.
Caleb Johnson could. I don't know if he'll go first, but he could be in consideration for possibly early second round.
I want to see what he does once Iowa plays a little better competition, and then I'll be a little more sure on him. I'm a little definitely higher on Genty and Hampton. So
I hate that you said Genty to Dallas. It would make me hate him. I just
I know you would, but they need that running back,
do.
and it's bad.
They do.
It's so same.
Yeah.
I mean, he could go to the Giants too. The Giants could use him as well. So, but he's got to be a first round pick. Teams have got to be looking at him. This guy's stud.
The Bears could use him.
Yeah, for sure.
Bears need an offensive line more, but they could definitely use him.
Some of the feedback here. It says any Marvin Harrison Jr. type of wide receivers for Heisman this season.
No, the closest guy right now would be probably Travis Hunter. I don't believe.
We thought maybe Burton would be. He's kind of been a little lackluster.
The problem with Missouri is their passing game has looked off. They're just not throwing Luther Burden the football for whatever reason it is. I don't know what's going on with them. They've kind of like lollygag through the season, kind of just trying to get by. So they've got to play better. They're gonna find themselves losing the game.
I do have one potential. I have a few potentially, but one guy that I was thinking of was if he continues would be Ryan. Is it Ryan Williams from Alabama, the 17-year-old? I don't know if he'd win it now because he's 17. Him, or if they're able to pass the ball more. Excuse me, guys. Obviously, Emeka Ibuka or the other guy on Smith, Jeremiah Smith.
Yeah, I don't think they give it to a freshman, and then the competition is going to get a little harder. So I don't think they're going to just be out here just.
The one I would see would probably be Ibuka if I had to think of a guy off the top of my head.
Yeah,
because he gets the ball so much.
Yeah, David said Carson Beck is my front runner. Okay,
it looks horrible.
He's good. Yeah, we'll see what he does against Alabama on the road. That'll be a huge win. I think this Georgia team is the least talented offensive they've been in a while.
Carson Beck was like 9 on my list, I want to say.
If he goes to Alabama and wins that game, though, he's going to shoot up for sure.
If he goes to Alabama and wins that game, I'd probably put him at 6. I still think there's other guys out there that deserve it over him.
I think, like you said, Cam Ward's been the most consistent guy in what I would say out of the quarterbacks this year.
The reason that I also have Cam Ward and Dart so high, I think they're 1 and 2 in passer rating too, in QBR. Like Beck has 680 yards passing, 7 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, 84.6 QBR. So, I mean, not bad, but not anything close to what that's not even close to like what Nico has. Yeah, I can't put him up there yet. If he goes and wins, yeah, I'll put him up higher, but I wouldn't put him in the top 5 right now.
Yeah, it says is Shedeur Sanders in the Heisman talk or no?
No, I think more so Travis would be. I think Shedeur just doesn't have the defense. I think Colorado gets their doors blown off on Saturday.
I mean,
appreciate it, Hollywood.
I mean, I don't mind Shedeur. I mean, he's obviously got crazy passing yards, but they don't have a run game, so it's like he's bound to throw it for 300 plus yards a game, and his completion percentage and his passer rating and his QBR are horrible. He has a terrible QBR and a terrible completion percentage. So I can't put him up for that. I mean, if you look at just the mainline stats, he's definitely in the 1,000+ yards and double-digit touchdowns, I want to say, but he only gets there because he has to. You know, he's not going to get there running the football.
Yeah. All right, so let's switch over to the NFL. So Reid, Lions beat the Cardinals 2013. Suffered a lot of injuries in this game, but they went out to the West Coast, went out to AZ, pulled it out. What was your analysis of the Lions?
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was good. The offense kind of got back on track. Stinks to lose Laporta, but Brock Wright's looked fine. You know, these last couple of games, I think as long as Ben Johnson can scheme him up right, I think Brock Wright could be okay. I don't think he's going to be Laporta, but I think he can be serviceable while Laporta, works on an ankle injury. I thought it was fine. Jared Goff looks off to me. He doesn't look like he's processed in the field the way that he did last season. Maybe that's because he, was thinking about his contract before and he had to ball out so he'd get paid. I don't know. But yeah, defense has looked incredible. for the most part. The secondary's been a little shaky with the corners, but Terrion Arnold looked like he did okay, shadowing Marvin Harrison a few plays, and Carlton Davis was all right. He did let up the touchdowns for Marvin Harrison Jr., but I liked it overall. I think that they played well. Obviously, Aiden didn't look as crazy because you're going against Kyler, who does scramble out of the pocket, who does run around. He's hard to catch. So I thought it was good. They probably could have put up more points. They definitely could have kicked a field goal on that 4th and 1. I think they ran a really not great play on that 4th and 1 to try and get it. Dumb penalties. Got to clean up the penalties. Jalen Reeves-Maven getting that late hit or whatever it was on Sportsman. I don't remember what the call was, but him running into the guy when he was on the ground, clearly tackled already. Don't do that. That's not smart. Losing Davenport was huge. Losing Barnes for the seasons is huge because Barnes has been probably the guy who has come out and shocked me the most on being how good he is.
What's Barnes' injury?
I don't remember his was. I think a knee. I think he's a knee injury. I know it's lower body, but Davenport's was an elbow or a tricep or something, separated elbow or tricep.
His was an elbow.
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure Barnes was a knee injury, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, so I thought they looked good. I think if you can play consistently like that, you'll be fine. But your offense definitely needs to catch more fire. I'm worried about Frank Ragnow because I don't know what's going to happen back up at center. Guard Glasgow's hurt, and Mahogany, who they drafted from Boston College, who I loved, has still been out with the sickness that he had. He's getting over it, but yeah, I mean, I'm definitely encouraged. I definitely think they'll be fine, but got to play Seattle. Seattle always is a menace when they, for some reason, play the Lions. They become, the undefeated Patriots, but I think they can pull it out. They'll be at home on Monday Night Football. I think it's going to get loud, and I think it could end up being like a Raiders type game when they played the Raiders last year at Monday night.
Yeah, I'm more impressed with the defense of performance these last couple of weeks, holding some high-powered offenses to way less points than what they're scoring. Offense, I think they'll be fine. They just got back to the basics and pounded the rock. Until Jared Goff can figure out and get this passing game in rhythm, keep running the ball. Gibbs and Montgomery have been beasts out there, so keep doing what you're doing. I think a lot of things what Jared Goff is doing, he's forcing the ball way too much to St. Brown right now. Just get the ball to the open guy, and I think it's more natural and it's going to fit them as well. I know Laporte is dealing with the high ankle sprain, so what I would do is sit him out low ankle. I'm sorry. If he's not 100%, sit him down for a couple games. Make sure he's 100%. You're going to need him. This division is tough, man. The defense will keep you in games, run the football, play action passes where Jared Goff shines the most. Jameson Williams, 1 catch for 9 yards, 3 targets. It's got to be a little better in that aspect. But I believe the Lions will be fine offensively. Jared Goff's just got to get out of this funk he's playing, and he's not playing as bad as Trevor Lawrence is. So I think he'll be fine. But defensively, they'll be fine. People are panicking about Terrion Arnold. Terrion Arnold will be fine, man. He's not getting beat. He's got to learn the ins and outs and what the refs like to be. He's being super physical, which is his game, but just adjust a little bit. Will be fine. Like Reid said, they're going to have to go trade for some type of pass rusher. It doesn't have to be in a superstar elite rusher, but they need to help Aiden out because sign Davenport knowing he could get injured, and guess what? He gets injured per usual. I'm not trusting Josh Pascal or James Houston is just not going to do it. Brad Holmes is going to have to work some magic and trying to figure those things out. So, but I think they'll be fine. I think they have to beat Seattle at home Monday night. Place is going to be rocking. They're not going to lose to Geno Smith at home again. So I do think the Lions find a way to win that game 21-17.
Luckily, the whole league's dealing with injuries. So Seattle's got a few injuries too. I think that it's going to be crazy at home there, honestly.
And passing touchdowns. The offense is kind of down this year. So you play good defense, you'll be fine, man. I think they will be okay. Just you got to tread water and just continue to get better. It's still early in the season.
Yeah. So, Reid, you mentioned it. They got the double headers now on Monday night. They did the double header yesterday with Commanders and Bengals, Jags and Bills. Next Monday, they're going to do it as well. You're going to have the Titans and the Dolphins at 7, and then the Lions are going to play Seattle at 8:15. So how do you like the whole Monday night doubleheader thing?
I mean, I don't really. At this point, you kind of just got to give in and take it. I didn't mind it. I don't like that they're like so close to each other. I would almost like it better if you're going to do the doubleheader, start one at 6 o'clock or something like that, so it plays and finishes, and you can watch the second one. And so it's not, I mean, I guess they do it to where one plays up to the halftime and the other one starts at the halftime, and then the other one goes to halftime. And they kind of play it like that. So, I mean, I get what they're doing, where they kind of want it to be, offsetting so you can watch both at different times. But, I mean, yesterday was crazy because I turned off the Jags game after, one, I knew my bet wasn't going to hit, and two, the Bills were just blowing out the Jags. And then I turned on that Commanders game, and it was actually a really good game. So, I mean, they were good. They were good products. I don't think the Dolphins and the Titans are going to be a great product because Titans are bad and the Dolphins are dead. Half their team's dead. But the Lions in Seattle will be fine. I just wish I wish they started them one earlier than the other one, so I can sit down on my couch at 6 o'clock and watch one game until it goes right up to 15 minutes before the other one. If you're going to keep it together, if you're going to keep 2 games there.
Yeah, I don't like it. I hate it. I absolutely hate it. If you're gonna do these 2 games, like Reid said, space it out to 6 and 8 o'clock, or do one East Coast and one West Coast game. To make it fair, you need to figure it out. But we can complain about it as much as we want, but it's not going anywhere. No time soon. It's only going to get worse. They started with Thursday night football. We do holiday football, and so on and so on. So we're just gonna have to make do with it. But if you're gonna have it, make sure these matches are actually good. Nobody wants to watch Skylar Thompson versus Will Levis. Just saying. So
might not even be Skylar Thompson because he just left the last game. It's probably gonna be like Tyler Huntley or Tim Boyle.
Yeah. If it's Tim Boyle, he should not be on the NFL roster. Better off starting.
If it's Tim Boyle, I'm not turning that game on.
No, my point exactly. So, it is what it is. So we'll have to just deal with it. But no, I don't like it.
Well, how do you feel about the Friday games for college?
I don't like them either, but I can deal with those a little more because most of the time it's only one game and they're at least decent games. Like we got Illinois and Nebraska, which was an overtime thriller last week. And then the week before that, we got Arizona at Kansas State, which should have been a good matchup, but Kansas State rolled the doors off. On paper, at least they're giving us something good. Like we're gonna get Ohio, we're gonna get Oregon hosting Michigan State. I mean, they're probably gonna get the doors blown up, but at least the brand and the name is gonna look good. So there's good players to watch. It gives you something to look forward to. But NFL, they're their money maker. They're gonna do what they're gonna do. So
yeah, I'm not a fan of the doubleheader either. Just give us the one game. I'm already not a fan of the Thursday night games either. The turnaround's too quick. I think the Thursday night game should only be for the season opener and Thanksgiving. But this is what the NFL does. They're gonna milk it. They're gonna milk as much money out this thing, out the schedule as possible. So, all right, let's get some of the feedback here. David said Ben Johnson should put some packages in for Hendon Hooker.
No, David, no.
And then it says LOL Tim Boyle. Yep, it's been a Tim Boyle sighting. It might be one on Monday night. I don't understand why they cut Mike White. They should have just brought Mike White back.
They like Skylar Thompson. So,
well, they drafted Skylar Thompson. They had to pay Mike White.
It said, "What the heck is going on with the Jacksonville Jaguars? Or will they turn it around mid-season?"
I don't even want to get into a big spiel about this whole thing. They're just bad right now. I can pretty much just feel like this. Trevor Lawrence got paid franchise quarterback money, and he is playing like straight trash. And that's me saying it in the nicest way. So, looks like he has no confidence. He threw that pick to DeMar Hamlin yesterday, and he had his feet set, and he overthrows Brian Thomas by 7 yards. So I don't know what is going on.
His confidence is down. That's the only thing I can say to explain it. His confidence is down.
Yeah. So Adrian, your Steelers currently 3-0 right now. Justin Fields playing very well. Nobody scored more than 10 points on you guys just yet. So what's your analysis on these Steelers thus far?
I think we're good. We're moving in the right direction. A couple of things I want to take out. Yeah, we gave over 10 points. We haven't played the greatest offenses. So, I'm not going to sit here and act like we're the 85 Bears, but we're going to be an elite defense. That's what I expect, and to be really good. Top 5 in the league, especially with the guys we got on the team. doing what we need to do. A lot of people said we're going to lose to the Chargers, but we took care of business. And we'll say Justin Fields needs to be the quarterback. And Mike Tomlin said he's not going to say anything until Russell Wilson's healthy. Just Mike Tomlin being Mike Tomlin. Justin Fields continues to win, put his team in a great position, don't turn the football over. He will be QB1, and I can see him being the future QB1. As you can tell, he's getting better and better. He's starting to throw the ball down the middle of the field. Only concern I have is we're lacking a number 2 receiver right now, and that really concerns me. Hopefully, Roman Wilson can get active and actually play this week against as they go to the Colts. But I like where they're at. Am I gonna say they're world beaters yet? No, not exactly. They keep winning. They can get in the playoffs. I don't think we're Super Bowl caliber yet, but I think we're a really good, solid football team, and we're doing what we need to do right now and finding ways to win. So I'm a happy guy. I can't complain. We're 3-0. Baltimore's
Ravens are 1-2.
Cleveland's 1-2, and Cincinnati's 0-3. So great start to the season. I told you guys earlier we have to get off to a good start with the schedule because that back half is freaking loaded. So taking care of business right now. That's all I can ask.
That Bills at Ravens game Sunday. I'm looking forward to that one.
The Bills
I will say
smoke them.
We're battling some injuries. We're battling some injuries right now. Highsmith will be out for a couple weeks. He has a groin injury.
But Nick Herbert played offensive lineman.
Yeah. We lost Trey Fatano, our rookie we just drafted this year. Yeah. I believe he dislocated his kneecap.
He's out for the season.
Yeah. Sam Alu's out right now, so we're just making ways. We're just finding ways to get guys in, and they're figuring it out. Najee had his arm in a sling yesterday, but they said he'll be fine. Nothing to worry about. Jalen Warren's been battling injuries all since the start of the season. Hamstring. Now he's dealing with a knee problem. So it's the Najee show, man. But I do believe Cordero Patterson will get some carries. I just think this team is just finding ways to win, man, and being tough as usual.
Absolutely. So Reid, big matchup in the NFC North this Sunday. You got the Vikings, 3-0 Vikings go to Lambeau to play the Packers. How you see that one playing out?
The way the Vikings just played last week, it should be a blowout. But I mean, it all depends on if Jordan Love is playing. If Jordan Love's playing, I think it's going to be a lot closer game. If he's not, I think it's going to be a heavily defensive battle on Green Bay's side. They're going to try very hard, but I think the Vikings will end up winning if Jordan Love doesn't start. Because I don't think Minnesota's defense is. I don't think they're as good as like the Steelers' defense by any means. I mean, they looked great against Houston, but I think it's mainly that was just Houston playing bad, and Minnesota's defense is good enough to probably stop Malik. What is his name? Malik Willis? Yeah, I wanted to say Malik Cunningham, but isn't that the guy that came out of Louisville, the running wide receiver or whatever? He plays in Baltimore now. Anyway, but Malik Willis, I think won't beat he won't be high powered enough on their offense to beat Minnesota's defense, but I think Sam Darnold is high powered enough to beat Green Bay's defense. So I think Minnesota will win unless Jordan Love plays. I'd probably get it more to Green Bay if Jordan Love plays. He hasn't been put on IR. Maybe this knee injury wasn't as bad as people thought. But if he plays, I would say the Packers win. I hate that the NFC North is good. I hate it.
I'm going.
Darnold leading the NFL in touchdown passes right now.
It's crazy to me.
Yeah, it's at least two passing touchdowns in all 3 games this year. But I think the Packers win regardless. I think the Packers win just because of the home field.
Okay. Yes. That's important early divisional game right there. See how this NFC North thing meshes itself out. So all right. So let's close it out with Adrian's top 5 list. Current top 5 NFL teams. Adrian's top 5 list. Let's hear it.
All right, guys. Let me get this. Sorry, let me pull it up real quick. But it's a lot different. It's a lot different than last week. A crazy weekend in the NFL, as we all know. All right, let's go top 5. You guys want me to go from 1 to 5 or 5 to 1?
5 to 1.
All right. At number 5, this was tough. I got the Green Bay Packers. What Matt LaFleur is doing with Malik Willis is crazy good, man. Tells you what coaching gets you by. He's playing well right now until Jordan Love gets back. The defense is getting better. They got talent everywhere on the field. I just think the Packers are a really, really good football team. Number 4, I got hometown Detroit Lions. Big bounce back win against the Arizona Cardinals. Playing well, running the football. They'll get better and better as the season goes along. Number 3, another NFC North team, the Minnesota Vikings. Now not only because of the way Sam Darnold's playing, but the entire team. And they could arguably have the best duo of coordinators. I know Kevin O'Connell is the head coach, but he's also the OC as well. Brian Flores has done this defense and turned them around and made them a great defense. And then the fact that they beat San Francisco 49ers and the Houston Texans back-to-back, two teams who were in contention to win a Super Bowl. So put the Vikings at 3. At number 2, we got the Buffalo Bills. Starting off 3-0. They scored at least 30 points in every game this year. Josh Allen looks more focused. He looks happier. Not as much pressure to just force the ball. Stephon Diggs is getting the ball out to everybody. It looked like a more complete team offensively. The defense is playing well. Sean McDermott has got the team ready and poised to try to finally go get a Super Bowl. And number 1, of course, unchanged since the season started, is Kansas City Chiefs. I know the offense is not playing its best football. They went into Atlanta and got a big win. I know they missed that PI call in the back of the end zone, Kyle Pitts. But that defense, Kansas City's defense, is elite, man. Nick Bolton, Trent McDuffie, Leo Chenal, Chris Jones. They're just elite everywhere defensively. Steve Spagnuolo done a great job. Patrick Mahomes is not playing great football. He'll get better as the season goes on. And like I said, they're defending champs, and they just keep winning, man. So,
Yeah, I think it's a good list. The only thing is I would probably put Buffalo at 1 just because Kansas City, like you said, Buffalo's won every game or scored 30 points in every game that they've played. Kansas City has eked out some wins. They almost lost to a very bad Cincinnati team. Atlanta is a strange team to me, how they're like good but bad at the same time. I don't understand it. They won because of a missed pass interference call there. So I would just move Kansas City down 1. Their offense doesn't look great other than my nephew, Rashee Rice, looks amazing as always. But I also think it's funny because Xavier Worthy's been, kind of quiet since that first game, and everybody thought he was going to be the new Tyreek when Rice came out to be the new Tyreek for what it's worth. Nobody's Tyreek. Never compare any other player to Tyreek because nobody's ever going to be that guy. But, I would just put Buffalo at 1 because, they are firing on all cylinders. And Kansas City's offense just is lacking a little bit because, like I said, other than Rice, who had, 9 targets or something, or 10 targets last week.
I think 11 catches last week.
So, Travis Kelce is nowhere to be found. Xavier
MIA.
Great. He's not great. He's a rookie. I shouldn't say he's not great. He obviously does well, but he's a rookie. Their backfield's tore up. The offensive line is a little shaky, but that defense is amazing. But I still think Buffalo's defense is great. Von Miller's looking amazing, and the offense looks great. So I would just put Buffalo at 1, but that's just me because Kansas City's had too many close games for my liking.
Okay, no honorable mention for the maybe team like the Jets. Jets 2-1.
Honorable mention would be the Seattle Seahawks right now, 3-0. I only got them that low because their schedule hasn't been as tough. They had to play a rookie quarterback opening game, travel to New England. I know it's a tough cross country trip, winning overtime, and then obviously they beat the brakes off the Miami Dolphins, but no Tua on a backup quarterback. But they're handling business. Gino's playing well again to start the season. So,
okay, all right, cool. So, Adrian, what happened to your boy Anthony Joshua? He had a bad loss to Daniel Dubois in the 5th round this past Saturday, man. What's wrong with Anthony Joshua?
Hang him up, man. Just like we talk about Deontay Wilder, man, he is slow, man. He cannot take a punch, has no chin. He was just running around the ring stumbling, and the boys just put him on the ground, and that's all she wrote. I thought he kind of turned his career around a little bit, got older, more mature, wiser, but I don't know. Anthony Joshua is just always that guy who looks the part, but he doesn't play the part. So it's disappointing, man. But shout out to the boys. But Anthony Joshua, terrible performance.
Yeah, I said last week when we talked about this, I might have to hop back on the Joshua train, but I returned that ticket as soon as I saw that the result for that fight. I didn't catch that ticket. So that picture of his face just completely looking like Play-Doh, just falling off of his skull is insane. So does this mean this Dubois guy fights whatever his name who beat Fury? Well, I can't think of his name. The funny looking guy, the Ukrainian.
I can't even pronounce it properly. I know
Usyk or
Uzlik or something like that. I can't pronounce it properly, but could be,
Okay, because I think that'd be a pretty good fight. I think they got those washed up guys out of the way, and now they actually seem like they have real heavyweight boxers.
Oh yeah.
You know, next guy's up. So
yeah, Joshua and Wilder might as well just go ahead, get it in, and
yeah, at this point, yeah,
just get it in, and Wilder can go off to the sunset, man.
they're both washed laundry at this point. Sabrina Nescu has 30 points, playoff high, 30 points, 9 assists.
Oh yeah, she blessed me. Then I got her on one parlay for 6 assists, other one 15 points, 2 threes. So blew past that. All right, so cool. Anything else y'all want to add before I get out of here?
No, nothing much. Good week. We're looking forward to another good football weekend.
Are we looking to do another football weekend? Because I'm not watching my team. So
who do y'all play this week, Reid?
SMU. We're gonna get the doors blown off of us. They're gonna score 100 points. Like I said, take the over. Whatever the over under is, take the over and take the spread. Take both of it. Take all the points you can get because they're gonna score. They just scored 66 on TCU.
Yeah.
Where's the game at?
I believe it's at SMU.
Yeah,
I'm gonna watch for you, Reid.
It's an 8 o'clock game too. Who's gonna fall asleep? Fall asleep to it. It's gonna be like one of those shows you put on the background to fall asleep. It's gonna be boring. It's gonna be. You're gonna get woken up. No, you're gonna get woken up every. It's ACC Network, even worse. You're gonna get woken up every 5 minutes. Not even. You're gonna get woken up every 1 minute. You fall asleep. Touchdown! Touchdown! It's gonna keep going off, and you're just not gonna. You wouldn't be able to sleep with that game on because Florida State's gonna get smoked.
Yeah. So yeah, we got a jam-packed week of sports, man. Tigers Rays series continues tomorrow. You got Thursday night football, Cowboys Giants Thursday, Michigan State, Ohio State, Michigan, Minnesota. Just a lot of good sports this weekend. And we'll have it all wrapped up on next week's show. Tuesdays, 8 o'clock, sports update. Make sure y'all subscribe to the channel, like the video, and we're up out of this thing. We'll see y'all next week.
Peace.
Peace.